Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. So today it's a little bit of a two-parter. We're going to start off with a film review on Elijah Vera-Tucker, and then we're going to go into who I think is the best, who will be the best team in the NFC next year. And I think it's an interesting conversation. So first of all, let's get into a little bit of conversation about this guard prospect. He played a lot of tackle this year. He was the left guard to Austin Jackson, if you remember, picked out of USC. In 2020, he was picked by the Miami Dolphins, and he wasn't that great. But I think Vera-Tucker is going to be a guard prospect. He's really good at keeping his head. I would say the technical term is on a swivel. Like, he's always looking for work. He's very athletic, keeps his pad level low. He's strong. He will bully. He will push people down. He has really good athleticism. I watched like 2 full games on him. You can get a good idea of a prospect. He's not going up against your Chase Youngs of the world, which feels like everyone in college shut down Chase Young. Any good prospect at least shut down Chase Young. But I just shit on Chase Young all the time. But Elijah Tucker, he would be a guard to Andrew Thomas. I don't think we'd put him at right tackle, but the thing is, where does he fit? Where would he fit on this team? The philosophical discussion about, like, Shane Lemieux, are you going to put him at right? Do you think him and Andrew Thomas should have a rapport and just develop for years and years on that left side? Do you put him at right guard? I don't think he's an amazing fit for this team, but let me tell you, if the Giants select him, I'm not running anywhere. This guy is just... He has the athleticism to compete with anybody. Now, his lateral quickness isn't great. That's why I don't think that he's an amazing guard prospect, but it's pretty high for a guard. I've seen guard get beaten. He doesn't get beaten by swim moves, and he's really good at picking up stunts and communicating. And again, he always looks for work. He's a guy that loves the game of football. Now, as far as zone reads, from what I read, he's like great great out in space. I don't really see it that much. He doesn't really have, I don't think, elite quickness. I don't see that on tape, but he might, I don't know. But I don't see that on tape, like him going out and running and doing some plays like that. But as far as drop back passing, a guy that's not going to allow pressures up for Daniel Jones, I think we should look at this guy. And especially if we trade back. If we have a team like, the Patriots or the 49ers, and we have a little bit of leverage at the 11 spot, and the team's like, okay, a Trey Lance or a Justin Fields, maybe both of them fall, and you have a couple teams competing, drop back a couple spots, I'm down for that. This prospect is really good. He is my offensive guard number 1 in this draft. I'll have a couple other things I'll note as far as, traits that I like about him. That's pretty much all I have. He's just shut down. You're not going to have to worry about him. You're not going to have to call his name. Doesn't have a lot of penalties. He knows how to get away with some holding sometimes and rough him up. He's a smart player, and I honestly, I'm not an elite draft prospect evaluator, but I like what I see from this kid. And I see, again, I saw 2.5 games on this guy, and I just got bored. That's great. That's a great thing. I don't want a guard messing up and then recovering. I don't want to see that a lot. I want to see a guy that's just going to shut down. And when you do get beat, again, it's always nice to see you recover. Let's move on to my NFC kind of thoughts. So let's go through each team for next year. Starting with the NFC West. So you have the San Francisco 49ers, who are getting a lot of injury players back to defensive line. Great cornerbacks. You had some standouts this year, surprisingly, which you kind of would expect since they didn't have a lot of talent there. It's like, oh yeah, maybe a guy or two shows up. Their defense was a top 15 defense under Robert Saleh. They lost him. Do I trust Kyle Shanahan? Who's going to be their quarterback next year? You're going to have a guy in the new system. If they get Matt Stafford, that's going to change. So right now, for me, they don't rank really high. You take a look at the Rams. They got rid of their defensive coordinator. They brought a new guy in. I forgot who they brought in. I should have looked that up. But, you have Sean McVay, good coach. They're going to be a perennial 9-7 team. But do we trust Jared Goff? We saw he clearly has a ceiling. This defense, can it be much better than this year? They were the number 1, number 2 ranked defense. Can it get much better? You're going to have to start paying Jalen Ramsey. Aaron Donald's getting a little bit older. He's still dominant, though. I'm not forecasting anything like that. But, you have some decent free agents as well. Like Joe Johnson, I think his name is, their cornerback. He's going to be a free agent this year. So you see that defense falling apart. The Seattle Seahawks, we need to mention that. Let Russ cook. Wide receiver talent, DK Metcalf, sometimes just iffy with the ball. Tyler Lockett's getting a little bit older. They're going to have to draft offensive line. They're like the Chiefs. They don't want to draft offensive line whatsoever. But you still have that solid rock and Dwayne Brown on your left tackle. How long is he going to hold up? Then you also have that defense with Jamal Adams. Again, you're going to have to pay him very soon. Your defense has Jordan Brooks, another whiff, LJ Collier, just kind of like good players, not great. Getting rid of KJ Wright. Okay, then you take a look at the Cardinals. Is Cliff Kingsbury the guy? DeAndre Hopkins, is he? Well, they have a decent wide receiver core. Larry Fitzgerald is pretty much gone. I think he officially announced he's retiring. But, Kyler Murray, injury waiting to happen. Offensive line's doing good. Defense, I don't really love Vance Joseph. I would have expected the Cardinals defense was kind of a little bit of a dud based on my expectations this year. I was expecting to be a top 5 defense. You had Isaiah Simmons coming in. Doesn't feel like they really used him that well, but you had some flashes with Hassan Reddick. Patrick Peterson's get a little older. Then you have some decent corners as well. And, Byron Murphy, who took a little bit of a step up this year, but they're not great. So, then next you look at the NFC North. Lions, I'm not even going to mention their disaster. Coaching staff is somewhat impressive, especially the middle guys, but they're getting rid of Matt Stafford. Unless they get back Joe Montana, they're not going to, even if they did, they're not really going to do much. The Bears, they're kind of a lost franchise. The defense, I think, is going to be in shambles pretty soon. He had a decent draft this year, I guess, but Cole Kmet can't block. Jimmy Graham is old. Come on, we're trusting Mitch Trubisky here. It looks like the Bears might implode. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers is not happy. Does he demand a trade? Do the Giants pick him up? No, but honestly, that sort of is a question mark. You take a look at Minnesota, still a very young team. People are saying Mike Zimmer's on the hot seat this year if he can't get much done this year. So there's always that discussion that people are having with the Vikings. Justin Jefferson's good, but they don't have really a deep wide receiver core. Offensive line is bad. Then let's take a look at the NFC South. Tom Brady, a lot of defensive free agents. We have Tom Brady again, but again, a lot of defensive free agents. You got there, your pass rushers. It feels like they're all in kind of on this year. Are you going to assemble another all-star staff next year where you got to bring in a Leonard Fournette in for cheap? That doesn't always happen. A guy like Leonard Fournette, they don't always come in and want to join a Tom Brady. So that's going to be interesting there. You have the Saints in cap hell. Who's going to be their quarterback? How many players that they have to get rid of? You have the Panthers. They're still on the up and up. Decent defensive line prospects. Derek Brown, Yorgos Matos, in their secondary, they still need to improve that. They're James Bradbury, their defense. Their safeties are solid, but they're still, going into their second year. And, it's not great. Then also the Falcons, who's going to be their quarterback, new coach, Arthur Smith. I think Matt Ryan may have another resurgence year. The offensive line is getting better. This team may be a 9-7 team, but are we really thinking that they're Super Bowl contenders? And then finally, the NFC East. You have the Eagles that just reset their coaching staff. Carson Wentz coming off a 15 interception season and 10 games that he played. We all know him. He's a mess. The Washington football team, who's going to be their quarterback? If it's Matt Stafford, then we got some problems here because now all of a sudden you have a great defensive line minus an overrated Chase Young. And I somehow found out the shit out Chase Young 2 times in this video. But, your cornerbacks and your safeties got you a top 5 pass defense this year. And then your offensive line, that's probably the biggest hole you need to fill coming into this year. Dylan Moses played better, but you still... Brent Sheriff as well, but you never trust him as far as health. And then the Cowboys. Do I trust the coach? The coach is one of the main questions. And paying people. All of a sudden you pay Dak Prescott, you have $10 million left to spend on your cap. So what do? It would be interesting if they do get Matt Stafford. Not a lot of people are talking about that, but Anthony Brown... Nothing really right home about that secondary. Trevon Diggs got injured. Nothing really great about that secondary linebacking core. Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith took a step back this year. The defensive line, it's not anything scary. DeMarcus Lawrence feels like I thought he would have a breakout year this year, but didn't come out to say that. I'm saying all that to say this. Look at the Giants in the NFC. Are we at top? I don't want to get ahead of myself. If Daniel Jones is the guy, and that's a big if. If Daniel Jones is top 15 quarterback next year, are we a top 3 team in the NFC? I mean, who's better than us next year? Tampa? Rams? Who's clearly better than us? We always have Washington's number. And, I'm saying that. And the Packers. That's it. Those are the only teams that I'm scared of. So I think the Giants are legitimately top 5 in the NFC next year. Now, it's not really saying much. There are only 16 teams. But we're a contender. If Daniel Jones is the guy, man, we have a top 4 roster, top 3 roster in this conference, and nobody's talking about that. But hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. Am I just an overacting Giants fan? And I'll see you guys in my next video.